have found us here at Mushroom and Moss Synergy Podcast. It is your co-host, Erin Shear of Lifted Spirits, with my lovely
Jamie Irene with Moss Goddess Boutique.
And we are going to dive into some deep topics today, discuss a little bit about frequencies, the scientific, the spiritual, and everything in between.
Yeah, it's more than just groovy vibes. It is what makes everything. So we're going to dive right in. So in the beginning was the word.
The word is what, Jamie?
The word is vibration. The word is sound. The word is frequency. Mm-hmm. And that is what creates matter.
Yeah.
And that's what controls matter. And that is what actually organizes matter. Matter is everything. So and all the way down to the little atoms in this chair.
It looks still, but it's...
In your hair. There's little atoms that are going... Yeah. And so, resonance, right? It's all about the resonance. Mm-hmm. And, in Hinduism, they use the great Om. Om. And that sound, it's not only soothing, but it also is healing. And it does, it organizes. So, and it creates. So as part of your prayer, your manifestation, your discussion with spirit, anytime you speak,
conversations with God,
you are having conversations that are actually creating.
Yeah.
So they call that spelling too, believe it or not.
Whatever comes out of your mouth
is part of the creation.
A little boomerang to the universe.
Back
and it
action.
Comes right back.
It does.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Well, that touches a little bit then what I wanted to start with is the Schumann Resonance. So with the ancient Om, it has its own sound, its own vibration, and then our lovely Mother Nature, Mother Gaia, planet Earth, has her own frequency and vibration as well. So, and this can be charted and we can check each day what it's shifting to, and that is called the Schumann Resonance. And it is naturally the heartbeat of Earth. So it is different vibrations that you can see on a scale. So you might see a dip or an influx in that chart, and that might correlate with something that's going on with our collective consciousness that day, whether there's natural disasters going on or whatever it be. It resonates with us because we resonate with Mother Nature. So our frequency and our vibration can fluctuate just like Mother Nature.
Wow, cool. So Mother Nature can get moody.
She's a lot. Yeah, Mother Nature can get moody.
Well, sure. I know that they also say, and I know in native cultures, that being one with the earth entails your feet literally touching Mother Earth. Yeah, so walking barefoot in the grass is so important for your health. It really does like center you, and being as close to it as you can be is what and how we were designed and should be. So
yeah, it is literally grounding. So you can do exactly that. They call it grounding. You get down to your bare feet, stick your feet in the dirt, the soil, the grass, the moss, the water, or you can even get grounding mats. I have one at my house where it plugs into the outlet, which grounds, and it will help get you into a better grounding. I even have shoes that have grounding. So what copper wire, you're talking about copper in the cups, which can help change the vibration frequency of your water. I have a pair of sandals from, I believe, Harmony 708 is the company. Could be wrong about those numbers, but they are grounding sandals. So when I walk on the earth, it helps ground me, where you can actually take one of the devices that checks the a grounding. What is a grounding device?
Are you talking about like what a electrician would use?
Yeah, you plug that into the ground and it shows you the number.
Sure.
That, and then once you put rubber shoes on and you step on the ground, your grounding number goes down. When you're back on the earth, your ground goes up. A little
science there, I guess, to show it. But I tell you, there's nothing better than some squishy mud between your toes or a little bit of the softest moss ever. Yeah. So there's definitely healing there.
I want to live in the 12th dimension. You know who lives in the 12th dimension?
I would say Source God.
Almost. The praying mantis species.
Really?
There's an extraterrestrial species that are like praying mantis. They're in such a high elevation of the 12th dimension that we can't even touch them. If you are ever graced by the presence of an extraterrestrial praying mantis being, you are connected to Source God. You already are, but that is like...
I don't know. Some people would argue, Erin, that you're talking about some creepy things that perhaps... hold up. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
That's okay.
What if it's a demon?
Oh, well, it could be because they eat your head.
That's
mantis,
great.
but yeah, it's the whole thing.
Okay. Well, what I did want to, that is a fascinating concept. I know you've got more of those, and I'm not making fun. I think it's great.
No, it's okay.
I love learning freaky things, and I am sold on a lot of stuff. So, and you do your own research, y'all.
Extraterrestrial beings are around
They're
us.
Totally, they're interdimensional. People call them aliens from the universe.
Reptilians.
It's absolutely coming from interdimensional beings. But with that said, everything does have a frequency. Matter is vibration. So that would really support, the idea and beliefs that the ancients had, which was that we live in a vibrational universe. And micro and macro, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're referencing is the 7 Hermetic principles. She's actually teaching a course now in universal law. It's called Bloom where you are.
Universal law course.
Yeah.
Just the 12 universal laws. We're learning 2 laws at a time, and I just taught about the law of correspondence,
right?
The law of attraction.
So what's crazy is I know that system as the Kybalion, which is the 7 Hermetic principles, but they also have the belief in as above, so below, which is what also is in the Christian faith. So that is definitely a tie into the biblical science, or biblical words. So, but we are, and that does lead to the law of vibration, which is part of the 12 you're speaking of. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had another freaky concept about the dimensions. So listen to what Erin has to say about the 3rd and the 4th dimension.
The 3rd and 4th. So she's touching on how the ancients believe that the earth had its own frequency, its own vibration. So we can scientifically measure that with that Schumann resonance, which I touched on. And then it actually tracks the fluctuations in the Schumann resonance worldwide. So our consciousness as a collective species of humans, but then the earth as well. Some spiritualists believe that spike in the Schumann resonance corresponds with those collective awakenings, spiritual enlightenment, and us upgrading our consciousness. So if you've ever heard we're living in the 3D, 3rd dimension, is what we can visibly see. Imagine if you were a fly and you had 12 lenses on each eye, you can see 24 dimensions. Okay, so we know that flies can see that. Why can't other beings see that, live in that, and have that live reality? So the belief is that our earth is splitting from 3D into 4D. Some people believe that the earth is actually going to split itself.
You mean like a cell would divide?
A whole planet divides. So I like to believe that it's not going to actually be a divide like that. I think our consciousness is elevating, where if I can maintain a higher elevation and frequency and live in a lived experience of joy, peace, bliss, and I'm not living in this lower elevation.
Lower vibration. Okay, I follow.
Higher vibration.
Okay. So negative and positive.
Yes.
Okay.
If enough of us are living down in a lower vibration, that is the canvas that we are painting for our collective lived reality. War, famine, fighting, all of this, poverty, scarcity, murder, all of this is happening because we're all living in this and experiencing it. But if we can shift and upgrade, because Mother Nature, her frequency is upgrading no matter what. So we have the choice to upgrade with her. So a lot of people are thinking these 4D and 3D, elevated consciousness,
right.
A way of living, heaven on earth, stepping out of...
Ooh, you know what you're talking about, my dear? You're talking about the second coming.
Well, I was just going to say, in the religious sense, they believe the 144,000. Thank you, right? The Bible believes that they're going to ascend. So when I'm talking about ascending, I'm talking about ascending from a level of hell on earth that everybody's living in.
Right.
It's going to happen. Murder's going to happen, but I can elevate and, live above that in a higher state of consciousness where I'm not affected by the lower. So as people start to, if you've ever healed of your spiritual journey and you start to get better, happier, some of the old toxic people start to bother you more. They start to drift away. You might not be around them anymore because naturally it just doesn't feel right. So you shift out and you, so there's a split between consciousness and honestly people's lived reality, and their choice of suffering can continue.
Right.
Or it can expand and evolve with the rest of Mother Nature.
Well, how beautiful would it be as a collective if we did raise to the next level?
I think we are.
I do too. I think that I think that there's with tools that are out there where we're able, the lame and the normal people are able to have access to knowledge. It's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
They meaning the.
It gives you a huge
leaders.
plate of responsibility that maybe you're not ready to do. So to know that you could just put your head to the side and ignore it and carry on with the easier of life is one thing, but then taking responsibility, knowing that you have the awareness to be conscious of your thoughts and your actions, and then that ripple effect goes onto people that you're around, you setting examples, you elevating the people that you're around versus being
and that'll naturally happen because when you are living in balance,
alignment,
it naturally will change organically. The things around you
organically will
because
grow.
your vibe,
and that's what Mother Nature
better.
is doing, is always organically trying to heal, repair, and grow.
Always.
And what isn't
and reproduce
is gonna get left behind. So then again, in the Bible, you think physically these people are gonna zap on up to heaven. Well, they're maybe just zapping up into heaven on earth and living in a heaven on earth. Same planet that you're living on.
Same reality,
but different lived experience.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
But really,
the praying mantis was wild.
If there's fourth dimensions and fifth dimensions,
I can see where that could correlate for sure.
Can I give you one more weird thing then?
Weird it up.
If we're
Let's
on
do
this, this is what Erin of Lifted Spirits is all about. So if you're talking about dimensions, I was a big believer in past lives. I had my past. I thought I had a lot of past lives going on. I've even had past life regression readings where now there's string theories, there's quantum physics proving that realities are happening on top of each other and that time isn't happening linear. So like instead of future, present, past, we've got layers of lifetimes happening at once, so that
because everything is happening at the same time.
And if your level of frequency can get you to that third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth, and these highly intelligent beings from other universes are elevating at that high of an elevation and vibration to live in a 12th dimension and being praying mantis. And they're wearing their royal jewels and their crowns and their...
Wow, it's a trippy thought. It's a trippy thought. Well, you guys may have heard of the study by Dr. Oh, his name. I'm gonna slaughter it, y'all. It's Masaru Emoto. Again, I'm not a linguist by any stretch, but
a wonderful doctor.
He was a wonderful doctor in the 70s, and he did this study about water. Not only, and you guys have probably heard the one where it's with Rife, and when he talks negative thoughts and gives negative thoughts and speaks negatively to this batch of water rice, it turns black. Whenever he gives, powerful love and healing and good vibes and you're so beautiful, it turns white and does great things. So here's the groovy part. He actually, and I don't know if I told you this or not, but he found out that our water, which lives in cities, is in pipes, and it's making all these crazy turns, and it's polluted and bleh, and it's traveling. And by the time it reaches our tap and our mouths, all the energy in it is crap. Ugh. It is not aligned.
Yeah.
It is
broken.
It is sick. Okay. So what he did was he mimicked through this beautiful sculpture that he had made, this over natural. It was through rock and stuff, but he made this where the water, as it flowed over these natural things like a river would through rocks coming out of a glacier maybe, or all these wonderful turns that nature makes, and it picks up all these good things along the way. That water and the health of that water was completely different. So
it's beautiful.
You can program your own water, believe it or not. So water, it is literally a canvas. So it is a canvas that listens to intent. It adheres to whatever you're programming it to be. And that's where maybe you could argue that in the ancient times, water rituals would happen. Christianity, it's baptism. Holy water, if you're in, they bless the water. There's a reason. They know things are known because the power absolutely, it all ties together.
Exorcisms.
So an exorcism.
Powerful.
So with that said, be mindful of the water sources you're getting. If you're not, if you are drinking from a tap, then try to purify it as best you can. One thing we're going to try is copper Copper. I just want to
yeah,
bring this up since it's
copper.
water. And so copper is one of those metals that
Energy can do.
Energy moves through. A lot of men wear a lot of women too, but they wear, you know, like copper jewelry because it does have healing properties to it. It aligns the cells. So we are 97% made of water. I recently heard it's down to 70%, but who knows? Whatever, there's a lot of water in us. There's a lot of water everywhere.
Yeah, like a cucumber.
So water is precious and it is living, and it is needed obviously for all life that we know of. And with that said, this is spirals and it's copper, and I thought it was fitting.
Healing.
But in any case, we're gonna go ahead and try the hammered natural
Copper water
bottles. Yes, because you can put your intent in that, whether it's a thank you for nourishing me and hydrating me and loving me. I love you. Keep me healthy. Heal my back today. Whatever. Drink it. Okay. There's power in it.
And it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, I believe.
This is the copper.
Yeah, the copper.
Yeah.
And copper itself is just, I mean, like the bracelet. Yeah. It's giving her energy. You have copper, those pressure socks that have copper in them, if you've ever seen those. Or you can take a copper skewer and stick it in your garden and in your plants, and it'll help them grow more.
Yeah, from the atmosphere, it pulls that energy. And it's grounding, enlivens,
and it's healing. So
fascinating, yo! It's fascinating.
It is. It's a cool healing
instrument. It is.
Instrument. And two, I've got a even cooler healing instrument is the Rife machine. If you've ever heard of this, so you taught us about Dr.
Emoto.
Dr. Emoto. And I've got Dr. Rife. Dr. Rife. So he was also an incredible scientist who back then was probably too advanced for his time. So he was discredited by mainstream, and now his healing teachings and modalities are used in cancer treatment. So Dr. Rife learned that each organ, each ailment and illness operate and live on their own frequencies. So by figuring out the frequency of each of these organs and ailments, he was able to make a machine that can remove these, that will actually destroy the things without destroying the healthy cells.
Wonderful.
So instead of with pharmaceuticals that are going to go in and help kill things, they will also kill everything
like a
else.
Chemo, for example.
Exactly. So this machine, I have my own personal experience and testimonies with toothaches, with a literally throbbing tooth, and I type in on YouTube. So all of these are easy access. YouTube is a great one for those frequencies she mentioned. They're great for Rife frequencies, or even just listening to the music that is soothing. So I typed in Rife frequency, toothache, played that. It's not a great noise. It's like, it's pretty like high pitch and annoying, but 5-10 minutes of that and literally the throbbing goes down.
It's wild.
Certain pain, different ailments and organs, even the flu, sore scratchy throat, COVID. I was playing that when Chris had COVID, or if I get scratchy throat, stuffy nose, just anything that's uncomfortable.
And not just in healing, but also in setting the atmosphere. For example, all of you out there that have crazy toddlers running around and life is nuts, put on a certain frequency and play it in the background. You would be shocked at how it changes a room.
It's very soothing.
It's so soothing. So, and I think I may have already said this, but I'll say it again. Ivar says, whoever controls the music at a party controls the party. And it's true, because it's all about the vibe.
It really is.
And vibes matter, and we all omit them, and then you add things like music and megahertz to everything. And
they can help aid us too when we're feeling.
And they can hurt us if it's the wrong thing.
Exactly. So also crazy, we were upstairs listening to 528 hertz just to get soothed and calm, and we went over some of the different frequencies. So I touched on Earth's natural frequency or hertz is 432. It's soothing to our nervous system and calming. But our good old, way back to the Rockefellers and all the people who run the world and rule our country and whatnot have set our radio frequencies and the frequency that people play their music at to 440, which is just enough off of the natural to cause
a disturbance where it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Disruption and cause aggravation. So we're all just listening and on edge, and no wonder we fight and argue and bicker because we're overstimulated. And
in ancient cultures, they had their drums.
Yeah.
They had their whistles, flutes, all these different things, but they knew how to use them in a way that was healing.
Yeah.
That's where your shamans come in. It wasn't, it wasn't, I mean, you could call it magic, but it's magical at the idea of it, but there is actual, rooted knowledge. It's not woo-woo. It's not wackadoo.
Yeah.
It's actually real. In fact, they will use sound therapy to break up stones, kidney stones. They are using lasers
and MRIs and lasers,
various things with different sounds as well, too, lights and sounds that will affect tissue. And
in the medical field, I worked in the veterinary field for over a decade, and we have different therapies with red lights and different lasers that we use instead of cutting with a scalpel, and then the Assisi loop. So I like to use the Assisi loop when I can.
The Assisi
loop. So it is using different healing frequencies and vibrations, and you can just wear it. It's for arthritis, inflammation, healing. I mean, we literally
STEM units will also do that.
After surgery, we would hold a certain light over there, and it would increase the healing of the wounds.
The photons or the light therapy to the cells. So anyway, our point in saying all of that is there is science behind some of these woo-woo ideas. I don't know about the praying mantises, but but you never know. You never know. I mean, and the more rabbit holes and the more you discover, you'll find a lot of this stuff. But so cymatics, that's a big word, but cymatics creates vibration, creates matter. So frequencies create matter, right? So it makes sense that it will also program it, and that's where it all ties together. And so for practical use, though, if you guys are at home and you're like, okay, what are these woo-woos talking about? I'll tell you here. Let me tell you how I use it a little bit. So if I do have an ailment, or even if I'm having an emotionally bad day, or, I have a partner, he doesn't like sound at night while he's resting. And that's a big fat bummer. So half the time I'm able to do this, the other half the time I can't. But I will put it on my speaker. I try not to have my cell phone right beside me. They say that's bad, all that, radiation, whatever. But I will put it off to the side, and I will play, whatever I'm needing at that time, whether it's, anxiousness, or it's put your mind at rest, or I have a backache, or whatever the case is. But you can do that and play through some of these. I will also use it whenever I am doing my prayers or doing my manifesting. I will use certain frequencies because it puts me in a state that allows me to get to that connection. That's 100% true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Connection
it's wild.
to the divine.
It's absolutely wild. And so I do also want to state that, and I did print them here. You can simply Google if anybody is interested. But this, you probably heard this term before, but it's called the solfeggio, which I believe is also the music side of it, right? Is that the do, re, mi, la,
Maybe.
Okay, I think it's all tied together. But what I want to know is what does it do? So all the way from pain relief and physical healing at 174 megahertz, tissue regeneration. So if you just had a surgery, whatever's going on there, liberation. So it's emotional healing too, which I use it a lot
for the heart and soul.
100%. And it is pretty great to sit in a forest with your earbuds and just if you're in the forest, you should be listening to the natural, but it is nice though to sit in the forest or a green space, put these in your earbuds and just let it resonate, let it do its work. So there's an angelic connection. There's the connection to the God frequency, which is 963. I do use that one a lot whenever I'm doing a manifest prayer. Whenever I'm doing my paintings, a lot of times, and I'm like, guide me
in the zone.
So it's really good stuff, and it's really important. And I think it's just another memory, really, an understanding of how all of this works. And imagine, to know that we can program a lot of it ourselves. So pretty cool.
Magic indeed.
It is magic. Do you believe in magic, Erin?
I do.
I do too.
I do too. Magic.
We are all magic, and it's important to unlock that inside of you. and spread that.
Find it on the outside, and then you'll see it on the inside.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. It was great talking. We'll be back to you guys at another date, won't we?
Yeah. Yep.
Coming up.
Tune in.
Tune in. Stay cool and groovy.
Drop some comments, your own lived experiences. What resonates with you? What have you heard? What would you like to hear?
Yeah.
That's what we're all about.
That's right. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.